Me again. Yeah, now we're actually doing the Q&A because, well, you probably already know, long video, didn't like it, split it into two. Yeah, so back to Spain, to the hostel where I'm sitting alone, talking to you guys, answering questions. Enjoy! So now that I've confessed my love for certain things and certain people, we'll move on to the Q&A questions, which I got you guys to ask me on my Instagram like a few weeks ago before I came overseas, and I've just like hung on to them until I came here, which I'd hoped to do this Q&A in like a really epic location, but I'm just being opportunistic, and since I'm at my hostel and the girls aren't here yet and it's quiet, I thought, why not? We'll do it now. Anyway, I don't really know why I said that. Q&A. One of the questions is, what do I want to do after my grad year, and do I want to stay in cardiac? So if you didn't know, I'm a cardiac nurse. I'm in my grad year, which means I graduated last year, and this is the first year working, and for the like 12 months I'm working on a cardiac ward. So what do I want to do after my grad year? Well, my plan at the moment, which is a little bit like all over the place because I'm like going through a breakup and who knows like what is even happening with my life, so my grad year finishes in January 2019. Yeah, 2019. And at the moment, I think what I want to do is continue working in cardiac, so on the ward that I'm on for maybe like until like April. And then when it starts getting cold in Melbourne, because I'm not doing another Melbourne winter, I want to go overseas. And like, even though my YouTube channel is like so minuscule right now, like it's tiny, no one probably really even knows who I am or whatever. But I'm really like, I really like vlogging and I really enjoy it. I kind of want to go overseas and like keep doing vlogging and stuff like that when I'm traveling. And then, yeah, I don't know. Like I honestly just, I want after my grad year for me to just wing it and just to do whatever I want. Like just be kind of really opportunistic and just do whatever, because I feel like up until my, like all through my uni degree, like I went from being like a party animal to like being like, no, like I'm so mature, I'm so grown up and blah, 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 blah. And like just recently I was like, I'm still young, but I feel like I got rid of that phase way too quickly. Like I feel like I was rushing to get out of it. So, and like, cause I've been so like career focused the last 4 years, I kind of want to give myself the opportunity to just go back to being like not like YOLO, like young and dumb, whatever, but like just a bit more carefree and like, yeah, I don't know. So at the moment, I think I want to, yeah, try and work a little bit longer after my grad year on the ward that I'm on because I love it. And then, yeah, hopefully go overseas and adventure and keep vlogging. And do I want to stay in cardiac? If I continue nursing, yes, I love cardiac. I absolutely love, like I literally say to my patients that come onto my ward, like I'm like, you're in the best place. Like we have the best ward. Like I'm just so obsessed with it. And I'm so obsessed with like the heart. I love everything about it. I love learning about it. I love what it does. I froth it. Like honestly, I love it. So yeah, I'd love to stay in cardiac. Not forever. Like I'd love to also do like emergency or something like that. But at the moment, like, yeah, I would love to stay in cardiac. Okay, why did you choose nursing? I chose nursing because my mum was quite sick for a while. She actually had a lung transplant, and prior to having a transplant, she was like in and out of hospital like quite a bit. And I just remember like one day, like so before I did nursing, I worked on a like boat on the reef, Great Barrier Reef, killing starfish, super random, that ate the reef. So nothing to do with nursing, like the polar opposite. I literally lived and worked on a boat. But I just remember like one time going to the hospital where my mum was at, and just seeing like the nice nurses who obviously like love their job and like really cared and stuff like that, and then seeing like the not so nice nurses, and just something in my brain, probably my short temper, was just like, oh, like if I was a nurse, I would be a good nurse. Like I would make sure that I was always like had my patients back. I always like knew as much as I possibly could to help them, and I would always like be their voice when they couldn't do it themselves. And then just randomly I was like, well, why don't I do it? Like, why don't I just be a nurse? So yeah, I moved and I left where I lived, my hometown, and moved to Melbourne and became a nurse. And I have been true to my word. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but like a lot of my patients are like, you are like, we could never thank you for what you do for us, because I'm always that person where like, I don't really care if I like get on the doctor's bad side or whatever, if it's for my patient and my patient needs that. And like in terms of like speaking up and things like that, I don't know, I'm probably just rambling, but yeah, I think I've stayed true to my word that I would be a good nurse, and because I passionately love it, that helps. How do I prioritize / balance work, life, social media, creating personal life, health? I think this is a good question, because when I started like my Instagram and blog and everything, I was still at uni, and I didn't realize how much spare time I had until I started working. And then I was like, wow, because I was like, oh, this is so easy to balance, like cooking like healthy meals, breakfast, lunch and dinner, and like coming up with recipes and like exercising and doing all these things was so easy, because I went to uni like 3 times a week and I worked like 3 times a week for like 12 hours total. So I definitely find it harder now to balance those things, and I do honestly feel like I'm actually not very good. It seems like I'm good at balancing them, but there's always one thing that like I pull towards, if that makes sense. For example, some weeks I'll just be like so into work and so into like, especially on night shift and stuff, where I'm just like, okay, like all I'm doing now is I'm focusing on this one thing, like work or whatever, and I go like as hard as I can with that, and then like other things sort of slide. But for some reason with me, everything seems to come in like weekly waves, where it's like 2 or 3 weeks I'm like work, and then I'll be like, no, stuff that, I need to be more balanced. And I'll be like, oh my god, like I haven't been going to the gym, and then I start going to the gym like all the time for like a couple of weeks, and then like work, it doesn't like necessarily like go to the back burner or whatever, but it's just not as like a foreground focus for me. But I guess in terms of tips, it's just being aware of those things. Like I know that I'm like that, so sometimes when something is taking over, like when I'm more focused on like social media than I am on like my own actual health or like my job or whatever, I'm like, okay, Gorgs, sort your life out, get things back in check a little bit. So the next question is about like healthy living and shift work. For me, I think my main things that I consider with like healthy living and shift work is I always try and take healthy snacks and food to work. A lot of, especially in nursing, I don't know what it is, like there's just junk food everywhere. Like patients will always give you chocolates to say thank you, or like nurses will bring in chocolates and like just crap for night shift. So to beat that, you have to be a bit prepared and like bring your own snacks, and just honestly learn to say no. Like when someone's like, hey, do you want like your 5th piece of chocolate, or do you want a piece of chocolate? Just say no and don't even think. Like don't be like, oh, like I really do want one, but like I really shouldn't. Like I bought my own carrot sticks, but like I would rather have this chocolate. Like I haven't had chocolate in like a couple of days. Just be like, no, I'm okay, thank you, and keep going along with your day. Like just learn a bit of self-control. But like the actual shift work things, like I know one thing for me that I do struggle with is like, I love AM shifts, so like 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. But I also love working out in the mornings. And like at this point in time, I have not been getting up before an AM shift to work out, and I cannot work out after work. So when I'm on AM shifts, I don't work out. PM shifts, I do. I still get up early and I go to the gym. And night shift, nada. Like when I do night shift, I just commit to doing night shift and just eating healthy, and that's it. Because having that added pressure of like literally staying up like all night, like my night shift is 9 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. So I literally get home from that and sleep from like 8:30 or 9 a.m. to like 5:30 p.m. Get up, eat, go to work. I just commit to doing that for 2 weeks and not being like beating myself up about it, because then you're just going to be stressed and it's going to be a nightmare. But healthy living and shift work, you just have to work out what works for you. And yeah, my main tip is just try and take healthy food to work. Drink a lot of water, just work out the best thing that works for you. Okay, I feel like I'm really just rambling, sorry. But yeah, anyway. Okay, when did you start getting into health and fitness, and what was your lifestyle like before? And then how long did it take before you noticed changes? So when I started getting into health and fitness, probably when I was like 22. So when I was growing up, I was always like small and like skinny. And I actually went through like this phase where like I hated with a passion being called skinny, like, because people would be like, people aren't like, oh, you're so skinny, like people would be like, oh my god, you're anorexic, like look how skinny you are, it's disgusting, eat some food, rah, 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 rah. So I went through this phase in high school where I was like, no, F all y'all, I do eat food, I'm not anorexic, I'm just naturally this way. So I would like overeat, I would eat so much food and be like, see, like I do eat. And that was my way of like showing people without being like, no, I'm not anorexic. So I was like, I'm not anorexic. Anyway, but because of that, I like put on a little bit of weight, which was not very much. I think I was like 45 kilos. But then after that, like I was like, so that was in high school. And then like I turned 18. And obviously in Australia, you can drink legally at 18. So then everyone was just like going out and getting drunk and all that kind of stuff. And like, yeah, I did that. Like everyone partied, especially where I was from. Like it's probably one of the reasons I left actually, because where I was from, when you were 18, your life literally was work Monday to Friday, go out Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and rinse and repeat like literally every week. And like, not like go out for a few drinks and go home. Like no, we would literally be out till like 5, 6 a.m. and then go back to someone's house and like have more drinks and then like sleep for a little bit during the day. And then someone would eventually wake you up and be like, hey, like have another drink. And you'd be like, okay, I feel like but I'm going to anyway. So yeah, so I did that for a little while. Then I moved to Melbourne, and I thought that when I moved to Melbourne that I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Like the clubs here are so cool. But I got here and just something, I was like, no, like I don't really like that. So I stopped doing that, and like I've kind of always eaten healthy. But yeah, well, probably wasn't until like second year of uni, so I would have been like 22. Yeah, 22, that I was like, no, I probably actually should pay more attention to my health. And in terms of like noticing changes, oh, my bum's getting sore from sitting on the ground. I've actually not been that good with like fitness and like working out. So like I'll usually like go to the gym like consistently for like a few weeks and then I just stop and I'm like, cute. So in that time, like I don't actually notice that much changes, but like from when I was like overeating in high school to now, I'm like probably lost like 5 kilos. And yeah, like I actually noticed like that one of the main things that I do notice about my body is when I am exercising. Oh, sorry, I just need to like reshuffle. It's really not comfortable. Yeah, one of the main things that I do notice that when I exercise consistently is my top abs, or like my abs. They show like pretty quickly actually, which annoys me because I'm like, if they show quickly, like why don't I just commit to it and like, you know, work out more, because then I would actually have like a legitimate good body. But yeah, does that answer that question? I think it does. I think that's all. Yeah, how long do you, yeah. Cool. So, really, I'm not comfortable. So that's it. Now you should know me a little bit better. And they are the questions that you wanted me to answer, so I have answered them. Yeah, that's all. Cool. All right, well, I'm gonna go now and probably edit this video because that's what I do now. Don't forget to like and subscribe as always. And yeah, I've been really bad with like ending my videos lately. I just don't know what to say. Like, I feel like heaps of like good YouTubers have like, you know, their outro, like they say the same thing at the end of every video, and I just like can't get it down pat. And I like hate just being like, okay, like my video and like subscribe, like even though that's like what I've been doing, but it's because I don't know how to end it. Like I need like a cool way to end it. Maybe you guys can give me some suggestions. What should I do? Anyway, bye. Oh, my butt.